Magnesium and the Octave's method of healing, choosing the path of wellness before illness. So let's begin with the truth that many don't realize. We are really living through this silent epidemic of magnesium deficiency. According to the World Health Organization, up to about 75% of adults in industrialized countries don't even meet the recommended daily intake of magnesium. In the United States, nearly half of the population consumes less than the estimated average requirement. What's more, magnesium is stored primarily in the bones and tissues, so those standard blood tests, often will miss this deficiency. This means someone can appear to be normal on paper, but they might be severely depleted. Research has linked magnesium deficiency to a wide range of chronic health conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, stroke, migraines, depression, even cancer. Magnesium deficiency is also a hidden driver of inflammation, which is now recognized as the root cause for many of the modern illnesses that a lot of people suffer with. As farming practices have evolved, this stuff that we call soil, the quality has declined. The magnesium content in our vegetables that we eat, it has dropped about 20% in the last 50 years. So our food simply doesn't even hold the same amount of mineral density as our ancestors once relied on. Oh no, it isn't just a nutritional gap. It's a foundational imbalance, a disconnect from what the body truly needs. And when the body is out of alignment, the mind follows, the emotions follow, and eventually disease, it takes root. Deficiency is not random. It's the direct result of modern lifestyle. Those things like industrial farming, processed foods, caffeine, alcohol, sugar, stress, trauma, and gut dysfunction all contribute to this depletion. Even certain medications like antacids, antibiotics, even those diuretics, they really interfere with the magnesium absorption and the increased loss. When the nervous system is chronically activated, magnesium is just used up rapidly. Trauma survivors especially, and, often unknowingly are magnesium deficient because their bodies remain just on high alert so often throughout the day, constantly burning up these vital resources. These symptoms are often overlooked and dismissed. Things like muscle cramps and fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, headaches, constipation, restlessness, even mood swings. But these symptoms are signals. They aren't just these nuisances that get on our nerves. They are the body speaking to us, asking us for help, pleading with us, asking, please change, slow down, do something different, give me what I need. The body is speaking. Thankfully, nature has given us not only magnesium, but just many beautiful forms of it. Each one kind of having a uniquely supportive to different parts of the body systems and energy systems. So as I call them into and talk about them, this is really about the integration of the Octave's method and the healing capacities of that. Kind of focused on that V for Victos with this healthy nutrition, bringing food and nutrients and minerals into the body to help it detoxify, to help it replenish itself. And so I'll share a little bit about the different forms of magnesium as I get a lot of questions about this. So do bear with me in terms of my pronunciation of all of these. I am not an expert in that particular area. So there's our magnesium glycinate. It really is paired with the calming amino acid glycine. It's ideally for things like anxiety, insomnia, and our emotional healing. It doesn't really affect digestion as much, so it's perfect for those who may be kind of sensitive in that area. Magnesium citrate is a highly bioavailable and is often used to kind of relieve people from things like constipation. It helps the body to eliminate what it no longer needs, both physically and energetically. Magnesium malonate, found in, let's say, like tart fruits, like apples, it really supports the production and is essentially helpful maybe for those struggling with chronic fatigue or things like fibromyalgia. And then there's magnesium threonate, is one of the few forms that really crosses that blood-brain barrier, supporting things like memory, cognition, and the neuroplasticity. I talk a lot about neuroplasticity in terms of trauma as well. The brain, it's really considered like the brain food for those navigating trauma recovery, mental fog, and just that emotional overwhelm. And then there's magnesium oxide. It is kind of the inexpensive but maybe poorly absorbed form. It's really great for maybe short-term uses with quick elimination when that's needed. And then there's magnesium chloride, which is found in our seawater, which is excellent for things like on topical absorption and for muscle relaxation. And then there is magnesium sulfate, commonly known as our Epsom salt. And it has been used for centuries in healing baths and soothing inflammation and tension. Magnesium taurate is uniquely supportive of the heart, both physically and emotionally, and it helps kind of regulate the rhythm and reduce things like blood pressure. And then there's magnesium orotate, which really has been known in terms of research to be supportive of cardiovascular health and cellular repair. Excellent for rebuilding energy and stamina. And then there's magnesium L-threonate, which is more of a purified form, and it kind of helps rewire deep emotional patterns in this unconscious thinking. Really, each form speaks to different parts of the body of this just really inner symphony. You know, rooted in the Octaves method is really about like the grounding and the elimination and all kinds of aspects with the body, mind, and spirit. And really at the heart of the Octaves method is about balancing that emotional and that cardiovascular kind of balance within the body. You know, it is said that the crown chakra, the third eye, you know, the clarity, the cognitive healing, that intuitive part of ourselves, magnesium can really be supportive. So when we begin to supplement in an intentional way with respect for the forms and its consistency and frequency, we really are supporting not just the body, but really the whole entire system of being. And so there are even some really kind of great foods to add in terms of foods that are magnesium rich foods, which are also very sacred things like our leafy greens and our spinach and our kale and our nuts and our seeds, things like pumpkin and almonds, even legumes, and, you know, whole grains, maybe some limits, gluten-free, no wheat kind of things. But then we can have like things like bananas and avocados, figs, even dark chocolate. You know, they always say that's nature's gift, you know, but maybe more like of the cacao, 70% or above. And then there's things like the fermented garlic, which I did another video on fermented garlic. So make for sure that you check that out, especially in the connection with trauma. But really a food that speaks about how often in terms of the work of trauma, what we can do, how we can do healing, a vibrational healing. You know, magnesium carries this in a very deep and supportive way to really help our nervous system regulation. Now, what I've shared in terms of the many forms of magnesium and their healing capacities, I want to be very clear. I'm not making a specific recommendation for any one supplement. Your body is unique. Your body, your needs are layered, and you really are the expert. You are the expert of your healing. So here are 7 things that you can kind of consider when deciding what form of magnesium might be best for you. So maybe first thing is do your own research. This is your health. Take it serious. Your body is listening, and every choice you make is either going to move you closer towards health or further away from it. Second is to investigate the company that produces the supplement, maybe studying their resources, their extraction methods, and their integrity. And then third, consult with the professional, whether that's a holistic nutritionist, a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine provider, or even your primary care physician. Ask for an informational consultation. Really it should be a collaborative process. And then fourth, schedule a nutritional assessment with me so that we really can explore all the full picture of your nutritional needs and create a personalized plan for you. Fifth, seek out some recommendations, maybe from friends and family, but those who live very vibrant, disease-free lifestyles. We don't want to get advice from people who are also suffering and going down the wrong path. Keep that in mind. 6, read labels, read reviews, read studies, do that part to do your own investigation. And then 7, listen to your body. It is always communicating to you 24 hours a day. Are you thriving, or are you just surviving? Are you getting an A in nutrition, or are you silently failing in neglect? Now, let me tell you a story of 2 women. Let's say they're twins. They share the same dreams, same family history, even the same birth hour. But both of them struggle with chronic constipation, headaches, fatigues, mood swings, restless sleep, even maybe a frequent overwhelm. One of the sisters finds all this talk about minerals just completely exhausting. She says she doesn't have time, the energy, or even the interest in figuring out what her body needs. She just simply says, I'm going to ignore these signals, these aches, this irritation, this sadness, this forgetfulness, and tells herself, it's just stress, or better yet, it's just the aging process. Oh my God, we're all going through it. It's life. She really lives in a constant state of reaction, feeling like life is happening to her. Her relationships are draining, her stress is high, her body is a mystery that she doesn't even want to solve. It's too overwhelming. Then there's the other sister who says, I have a different choice. She decides, you know what, I'm ready for change. She begins working with me, Tonya Octave, and together we begin with one simple step, magnesium. We identify the form that supports her nervous system and energy levels, and she commits to taking it in a consistent way. Slowly, she begins to see things like sleeping through the night, like headaches tend to lessen. Her digestive system starts to regulate. Her mood stabilizes, and something even more powerful happens. She begins to trust her body. She tunes in. She listens. Her relationship shifts. Her energy expands. The fog begins to just unlift. The one choice to give her body what it needed became the foundation, and everything followed. You see, which life are you choosing? It isn't just about the 2 women. This is a decision, a path, a possibility. You can begin to work towards wellness now and proactively, intentionally, in partnership with your body. Or you can wait. Yeah, you can delay. You can watch and see what happens. But I tell you this, when I look around and I see too many people stuck in the cycle of pain, disconnected from themselves, I see disease settling into their bodies and their minds like a guest that overstayed its welcome. And it's heartbreaking. not because people are weak or unwilling, but because no one told them they had a choice. So you do. You have a choice. You can begin today with something as simple and sacred as a mineral. You can feed your cells, your spirit, your wholeness. The decision is yours. You know, magnesium really supports the full spectrum of healing: the physical body, the emotional landscape, the mental field, even the spiritual vibration. You know, in the language and in the concept and creation of the Octaves method, it really nourishes the root by grounding, the heart by regulating rhythm and emotion, and the crown by enhancing clarity and connection. Each form plays its own note in the symphony of healing. And as you explore which form of magnesium aligns with your needs, you know what? Trust your body's wisdom. Magnesium is more than a mineral. It is a messenger. It brings the body back into harmony, calms the mind's static and chaos, and really softens the spirit's ache. Begin to see it more than just a supplement, but maybe a sacred medicine. In every bite of magnesium-rich food and in every intentional bath, you are not just healing, but you are tuning into that inner instrument, returning to the resonance of yourself. Let magnesium guide you there. And I would like to leave maybe with this affirmation. I nourish my body with the melody of minerals, and I am in harmony with healing. I nourish my body with the melody of minerals, and I am in harmony in my healing. I nourish the body with the melody of minerals, and I am in harmony with my healing. Thank you for listening.